Hi, my name is Liz DiTomaso. I'm a certified life coach and eating psychology coach. And today I wanted to talk to you about how perfectionism and procrastination have a big role if you're feeling stuck, unmotivated, or non-productive. Perfectionism, for those of you that have never heard that phrase or aren't familiar with it, it's essentially the refusal to accept any standard short of perfection. Now, I was shocked when I learned that I had perfectionistic tendencies in me because I've always thought of myself as being very laid back and carefree. But when a coach of mine pointed this out to me, I started to realize that I have quite a few of these tendencies going on in different areas of my life. The problem with perfectionism is that it's a standard that's unattainable, right, by virtue of its definition. So if you've got perfectionistic tendencies, for example, when it comes to the job search, let's say you're unemployed and you know you have these tendencies sort of underlying what you do, it's going to stop you from taking the actions you need to take to move yourself forward. What happens with perfectionism is it's actually the opposite side of the coin from procrastination. Those of us that have these tendencies, we procrastinate if we don't think we could do something exactly right or to this very high standard that can't be achieved. So we wait and we tell ourselves we need more information, we tell ourselves we need more experience, and we end up putting things off. And that's what keeps us from moving forward and keeps us feeling like we're stuck. Now, feeling non-productive and unmotivated is related to all of this. When you have perfectionistic tendencies, you tend to also be very critical. So what I mean by this is you tend to be very hard on yourself internally. Let's face it, right now, there's enough external stress happening that adding to it with our own internal dialogue, telling ourselves that whatever we're doing is not good enough, is just adding on to that stress. And of course, that's going to cause perfectionism paralyzation, where you just don't feel like moving forward with the action. The antidote to this is a few things. One is to start to examine the critical self-talk. And if you've never done anything like this, the really good first step you can take is to notice when you feel really bad, whether it's you feel ashamed or you feel really angry or you feel really sad, and try to catch what you were thinking just before that feeling started. Our feelings are generated from what we're thinking. So if we start to feel just really depressed and down in the dumps, it's worth it to examine what we were thinking just before then. There's a really wonderful book. It's called Self-Compassion by Kristin Neff, and I highly recommend this. The reason I recommend that book is self-compassion is actually the only cure for perfectionistic tendencies. It's to start to be kinder to ourselves and to start to nurture ourselves. Kristin Neff also did a TEDx, and I'll put the link in the comments below. It's about 20 minutes, and it's really worth watching. If you're really serious about starting to be kinder to yourself as a way to motivate yourself to move forward, I highly recommend reading that book. She talks in her book about research where fear and being unkind to yourself as a way to motivate yourself to do things is actually not a long-term strategy that will ever work. The other thing I wanted to talk about is just very practically speaking. I learned this from my own life coach. Her name is Amy Lombardo. You can make yourself a little victory log. At the end of every day, take a small journal and fill in a page of everything that went well that day and all of the progress that you made. Nothing is too small or too big to put in your victory journal. So you might say, I looked into a job that I had applied for today. I had a conversation with a friend and I told her I was looking for a job. All of those things count as victories on your employment search. And as much as you can recognize the progress that you're making, you're going to start to have that kind voice come up more and more that is actually encouraging. And that is what helps us to meet our bigger goals. The other thing that you might do is, instead of making a to-do list, if you have perfectionistic tendencies, You probably make to-do lists for yourself. I personally find the phrase to-do list to be just very aggressive when I'm trying to work around my perfectionistic tendencies. So I actually make what I call a priorities list. I literally write the word priorities so that I remind myself, these are the big rocks that I want to tackle that are moving me forward. They're not these little tasks that I just want to tick mark off. They're actually things that really matter. And to further remind myself that these are priorities and not just little to-do tasks, I actually break them down into categories. For me, what matters in my life is my spirituality, my connection to other people, whatever I did to serve others, my career, and my physical health. So what I'll do is I'll make a list of my priorities for the day, and I'll make sure that those categories are included, and I'll literally write career next to those things that are helping me with my career. I'll write physical health next to the actions that I took for my physical health, and so forth. So you might try doing that instead of a to-do list to help you stay really grounded in that sense of what's going to really nurture you, rather than just what's going to make your perfectionist tendencies feel like they were fulfilled for the day. I hope this was helpful. And if you want further help, please visit my website. It's LIZDITOMASSO.com. And I'm going to put the link for that below in the comments as well to make it super easy for you to click there. Thank you for viewing, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend.